Hey everybody, it's 3 o'clock here in New York City on a beautiful sunny day. And it's so lovely. I've got the windows open for the first time fully. And let's look over the neighborhood. Anyway, nobody stirring on the street right now, but anyway, we'll keep an eye on the activity. And I love to be here to play for you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And let's get right down to it. That is Poison Ivy League, and that's going back to an album I did called Bad Boys of the Arctic. What does that mean? And that's about 1994. That's an original, and started out with another original on an album entitled Busy Being Born from 1999 called Shekinah, which is a Hebrew word symbolizing the female energy of the universe. And this is going way back. This is the second song I think I wrote back in the day when I determined that I was really going to do music seriously on my own, and it's called Skin the Rabbit. Okay, she's a rainbow, a Jagger Richards composition, one of my favorites, from the album Satanic Majesty's Request. And here I'm going to take a little break and do some show and tell. Now, my friend Lee Lust, as I mentioned a couple episodes back, during this pandemic, was doing some house cleaning and discovered a whole cache of a whole drawer full of Gary Lucas posters. Here's a beauty, albeit I think you're reading it backwards because of the strange mirror image effect of Facebook streaming. So if you can imagine, let's see what we have here. Well, this actually is me with a robot mask. I think it's the man from Planet X. Tim Lucas, you should correct me if I'm wrong. But it was one of those Don Post rubber Halloween masks they used to sell on the back of Famous Monsters of Filmland, which was my Bible back in the early 60s. And I used this mask for my Yale yearbook shot. That's right. I'm sorry to say it broke my parents' heart. But I was nothing if not very rebellious. Still am, and I've toned things down a little bit. And also here, now this is in the style of an old porno magazine, like Confidential magazine, where they would black out people's eyes. But in fact, what it is a shot of myself over here in full CBS Records regalia. I used to really dress up, as you were expected to. This is my ex-wife, Ling, over here, Ling Ling Key, who became Ling Lucas. And she was a publicist. She became VP of publicity for Warner Books when it was part of the Warner Brothers Communications empire. Here is Richard Nixon and Pat Nixon. This is an actual photo taken at Nixon's house in Saddle River, New Jersey. What happened was Warner Books was empowered to publish a book of reminiscences by Nixon entitled Leaders, about meeting Charles de Gaulle and Mao and other world leaders in his career. And this is when he was in retirement in Saddle River post-Watergate. And anyway, I queued up to meet him because I was a big Watergate buff. I was as into it as I am now watching Donald Trump's press briefings. I was kind of a Watergate junkie, and I can quote lines from it. Daniel Inouye, right, after John Ehrlichman spoke, "What a liar." That was a good one. Live TV, folks, is where it's at. And anyway, so Ling was the publicist on this book, and I found out about it. We were already split up, but we were still friendly at that point. So I said, well, I have to go with you to this. They were going to have a press junket to Nixon's house. So she arranged it, and we took a limo out there with some other Warner Books employees, and I stood in a big queue of people, and there was Pat and Dick at the end of the queue. So I got up to the front, and he said, and what is your name? And I said, Gary Lucas. And he went, it's very nice to meet you, Jerry. Yeah, I'll never forget, mangle my name. And then he said, what's your name, young lady? And she said, it's Ling. And I thought I'd help him out. And I said, Ling. And he got kind of huffy with me. He said, I know very well how to spell that. Anyway, like I open China. Those were the days. So anyway, I used both of these images on a poster here, going back to my original show and tell. Gary Lucas solo guitars, Tuesday, June 20th. That's my birthday. This must be 1989. Oh, I'm not going to tell you how old I was then, but still up there in years, I would say, for doing music at a late date. 2 sets, 8 and 11 p.m. at the Knitting Factory, the original Knitting Factory, 47 East Houston Street. And it's actually plugging the solo gig and also the first appearance of Gods and Monsters at the Welcome Back to Brooklyn Festival. Here it is, 1989, on Sunday, June 11th at 3 p.m. Grand Army Plaza under the arch facing Prospect Park. Then the lineup of the band was myself on guitars, Paul Nowinski on bass, Tony Thunder Smith on drums, and Jared Michael Nickerson on bass. I had two basses in the band, and I love a big bottom. And, anyway, Gods and Monsters was due to play their, what would it be? Our 30th anniversary show last week at Le Poisson Rouge here in the Village in Manhattan. But because of the crisis, we had to cancel. We postponed it. Hopefully it will recur in September. And hopefully around the time of the release of this album, The Essential Gary Lucas, which is coming out on September 11th to, I wouldn't say a record store near you, but maybe, if there's still record stores out there. But it'll be available online and as this beautiful deluxe CD that was designed by my friend Steve Byram, who I used to cut a lot of capers with back at CBS Records. We had to have some fun there. We had a lot of fun. So I think I'll just move things right along into National Steel guitar mode right now. And this is my 1920s National Steel Duolan, which I acquired in the service of Don Van Vliet, Captain Beefheart. And let's see, this is a little bit of Janacek's music, an interlude from his opera, The Cunning Little Vixen. I love his music. I'm a big Janacek freak, and I played this and a bunch of other Czech classical music at the Czech Embassy for the 14th anniversary of the Velvet Revolution in D.C. back in, 2020. I think about 2003. I have to check that date. But it's on an album called Gary Lucas Plays Bohemian Classics. Yeah, all right. Now, I have some thanks are in order here. I have a little list. I'm checking it twice. I'll tell you who's been very, very nice, and that is Craig Shalone. A big shout out to Craig, who popped a check in the mail. How nice. Hank Frisch, one of my oldest friends, and I was in a band with this guy in Taiwan back in the mid-'70s, and that's an interesting story. Someone yesterday was telling me how much they love Tim Buckley. I'm also a huge Tim fan, and I know exactly where I was when I heard that he'd passed away. I just arrived in Taipei, Taiwan in 1975, and I was given a little transistor radio that was tuned to AFNT network, the Armed Forces Radio Network, which is the network that's hooked up with all the military bases of the U.S. around the world. And on the news, the DJ said, singer-songwriter Tim Buckley has passed away, has OD'd today in Los Angeles. And I was like, damn, I love Tim Buckley. What a drag. Then there was a knock on the door of the apartment I was staying at, and this kid walked in from Shaker Heights named Hank Frisch, who lived in the building with his dad. And he was a blues harmonica player, and we started to make music right there. I had my guitar. I guess he'd heard me playing guitar and jamming by myself. And we went on to play all over Taiwan, including National Taiwan University for their graduation ceremonies. We played in Hong Kong at the Go Down. We had some great fun and adventures back in the day. Joni Tempesta Schneider. This is an old friend of mine going back to kindergarten, I believe. Big thanks, Joan, and hope you're well, and I hope I get to see you one of these days. Andy Cherto, here's a repeat. Andy, instrumental in turning me on to so much great music, including the Velvet Underground and the Mothers of Invention. I first heard him at Andy's house hanging out. Richard Timms, another repeat. Alex Maiolo, thank you so much. Yasser Tabah, pardon me if I'm mispronouncing your name, but he's a repeat patron, and I'm so grateful. Jonathan Luftig, also in the same category. You guys rock, and what would I be without you? I'll tell you, I love my fans, and I'm so humbled to be able to play for you here. And so here I'm going to play a little bit more. Well, I'll play electric guitar, okay? I have this set up. And this is a new one. And I'm doing a lot of collaborations in the world these days. I've done some tracking for an EP with the great Yas Bodhi. I don't know what name he's going on these days. Yas Boud, I guess. And we did that in near Lille, France. Back in November, we recorded an EP that's still being refined. And I hope he gets back safe and sound from Martinique, where he's been sequestered. Sounds like a good place to be, right, for a pandemic. Hope he gets back to France soon, okay. Also, Peter Willem, who came all the way to see me play at the Nick Vollebrecht Jazz Club, thanks to my friend Kodakloot. Peter took a trip from Maastricht, way down in the south of the Netherlands, for my taping there, and we're scheduled to work on an EP, hopefully by the end of the summer. You know, God willing, I can fly over there, and we'll do it. And there's other people I'm collaborating with, but let's see what happens. Anyway, here we go. Little beef heart for you. That's a lovely tune. That's a little bit of a song called Black Ice that I wrote with the great Peter Hamill, which is on a collaborative album we did called Otherworld. Check that one out on the Esoteric label. And yeah, I don't have any effects or anything. This is just me naked, unplugged, the naked Gary. That was plugged, but just through a tiny little amp with yeah, no effects, nothing. Au naturel, and I'll finish with a little piece for you. I have to put it back in open E tuning. All right, so we were in open A at the beginning, and then I'm going back to open E. I'm out here in direct sunlight, folks. So it's a very intemperate platform for me to wing it on, but I'd like to have this thing behave. Okay, sort of. Let's stop right now and want to thank everybody. Look how beautiful it is out there. Everybody, little glimpse. Thank you for tuning in. I love to play for you guys. And please, if you can, show some appreciation at PayPal. My address is gary@garylucas.com. Send it as a friend. Definitely do that. And I'll see you on Saturday at 3 o'clock, okay? Big hug. Stay safe. Love you guys.